Today, we have a very interesting question from one of our webinar participants. Later today, in our webinar series, Handling Digital Communication During Crisis, we're going to try to answer, from your experience and based on your observed trends in your business, which tools are and will be the most successful overall? Search engine ads, social media campaigns, cold emailing, and so on. Actually, not much data, and this crisis has no precedence. So whatever we are going to talk about today actually doesn't have a clear background, and there's little data to support it. However, there's some very little studies that came out about what is most effective these days. One of the studies, for example, is a study made by Marketing Pros. And if you take a look at it, it seems that emailing, search optimization, content marketing, and live events are still some of the most interesting one. Live events, mind you, this is webinars and the type of live sharing that we are producing right now. In terms of what produces the right ROI, there are plenty of studies, but I'd like to draw your attention to the fact that the human values today are actually more around belonging and we. Just because of the social isolation, people that are curious, people that rely on the strengths and authority of others actually are going to draw together in communities. They are going to be driven by sharing meaningful content and meaningful information and caring for others, right? And less about ambition and control and things like that. Based on this, I believe that actually the data from last year, from November 2009, is that showed that website and digital commerce and mobile marketing and social marketing and digital advertisement and so on, that may still work. However, in terms of engagement, whatever is more group-based, group-focused, and value-based is much more meaningful to your audiences these days. One thing that I'd like to show you, example, is that you can take each channel and actually turn it upside down. What that means is, if before events were producing really high engagement, you can see that webinars are close. So even in regular times, webinars still produce quite enough engagement. However, now I think webinars produce the most engagement. We don't have in this data what community engagement looks like, but I'm sure that there are going to be new studies coming up. And another tip that I'd like to give you is that calling, actually, these days, nobody really calls. Like before, I used to get a dozen calls a day from different companies selling, marketing, and so on. Nowadays, I don't get any call. For the last week, nobody called me to pitch a magazine or a subscription or something. I would argue that cold calling actually works much better now than usual. And I bet you that cold calling produces quite enough engagement. As we don't have data and as my phone doesn't yet ring, so I cannot tell you for sure how that looks like. If you haven't subscribed yet, please join us today for our webinar series on handling digital communications during crisis. It's going to be later this evening, and we look forward to welcoming you. We've got an amazing crowd and an amazing lineup of speakers. We're going to tackle very interesting subjects like the one that I just spoke about, but also this is our third in our webinar series, and we've got many more things coming up to support our business ecosystem. I look forward to meeting you later today. Thank you for listening to me, and we'll be in touch. Bye-bye.